What's up, and welcome to the Dual Sense podcast for episode 173. I am one of your co hosts. My name is Jason, or at least I think so. And I'm joined, of course, by your other co host. His name is tonight on Zencaster. R. Kelly is a hero. So it's quite a hill to die on.
It is. It is.
He's also known as Travis. That's his Christian name, Travis. What's going on here? What's this R. Kelly about? Or what's this R. Kelly piss about, I should say?
I don't know. I heard Remix to Ignition on the
Yeah.
way home from work and just thought it was an outrageous thing to say.
That was a whole moment, remix to Ignition
Mhm.
in about, I don't know, 2002,
Yeah.
2003 maybe.
And then he made Trapped in a Closet, and the videos were hilarious because there's like a little midget, and there's a whole
Oh,
thing.
yeah. Yeah, was it like 4 or 5 parts to that, right? Something like that?
I don't remember, but I
It was like
mean,
a
Dave
yeah.
Chappelle was telling us years before that he was, he peed on people. So
He did. It's funny that we're talking about R. Kelly because I brought up the clip, not too long a few days ago about where he was getting interviewed by, like, CBS News or 60 Minutes or whatever,
yeah,
and he's like, "I'm fighting my fucking life out here."
yeah, that's why he's hilarious. He's unintentionally hilarious. That's a hilarious meme. The
Yeah.
Trapped in the Closet shit's hilarious. Like, he just, he doesn't have to try.
Is he in prison?
You know what? I don't know.
I wonder if he got convicted for whatever being a sex offender, basically. Because weren't the people that he was pissing on like 14 or 13-year-old girls or something weird like that? Like he's a weirdo.
Yeah, he's definitely a weirdo.
Yeah.
Either way, it's
Yeah,
weird.
of
It doesn't
course.
matter if it doesn't get less weird.
True. If they were 44 and he was pissing on them, it's still weird.
Yeah, it's just less rapey at 44,
It's far less rapey at 44. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Also, you know this. You know how I just like I'll see somebody and I'll just track them for the duration of the time they're around me.
Yeah. Like you'll stare a hole through someone in a
Yeah.
restaurant type of
Yes.
thing. Yeah.
So, this family gets their name called 2 or 3 times, they don't come up. First of all, when
Mm-hmm.
they came in to put their name into the pool, I guess, like, "Hey, we're here at the hostess
Mm-hmm.
stand."
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, I was really intrigued to watch. Well, they then said the family's name, like, literally 4 times. They never come up. They finally say it on the intercom system, and then, like,
Oh,
45
God.
seconds or a minute later, they all come in, and they all looked like they would stare at an automatic door and be amazed by it. So I'm like, "Great, this is awesome."
It happens more often than you think.
They go sit down, and I'm like, "This is just I hate them." So I go to the restroom, and, both of the stalls are locked, and I'm in an
Mm.
emergency situation.
Oh, no. Before you even eat?
This is after I ate.
Oh,
So
okay.
I look at something tells me to look under the stall, see if there's feet. One of them has feet, one of them doesn't. There's a little kid behind me washing his hands. So at this point, I'm like, "Okay, I gotta wait. I can't be doing weird shit with this little kid in here, right?" And I have to go so bad,
All
I'm
of this
contemplating, am I gonna
crawling.
shit in a urinal? Like,
Oh my
that's how
god.
bad it is, and I'm like, I can't get in the car 'cause I'm not gonna make it home. It's like, it's
Uh,
girls' bathroom or urinal. The little kid leaves, and I'm like, "Okay, one more look under the stall. If there's nobody there," because the stall's locked. I look under, there's no feet. I'm like, "It's shit in the stall or crawl on the bathroom floor into the stall." I don't have a lot of choices here. So I Bear Grylls it on the bathroom floor at the Cheddar's restaurant underneath the door,
you should have led with this. This
and
is way
I
better than
and
Jesus.
I climb up, you know,
Uh-huh.
toilet's great, not out of service or anything. Go to
I
the
was hoping
bathroom.
somebody would be in there.
No, I was afraid of that. Like, there's just a guy in the corner, and anyway, I get
Yeah,
done.
just jerking off in the corner at Cheddar's, and you
Yeah.
get in there and take a shit.
Well,
Okay.
I let him finish. So I
So kind of you.
so I get out and I wash my hands, and
Uh-huh.
the other person comes out of the stall, and it's the kid from the beginning that was with his
What?
mom. It's the same kid.
Oh my
He'd been in there
god.
shitting for, like, I don't know, most fucking 6 hours or something. So I
Yeah.
walk out, and she's waiting for him in, like, the area, like, little lobby, like,
Mhm.
right in front of the bathroom door. He's probably, like, 13. Like, you don't need to wait on your kid in the
Yeah,
bathroom, okay? So
he's fine.
she's like, "Dad's in the truck, come on." And they leave. I think, "Okay, that's the end of them. They're out of my life." Then I go out in the parking lot and I see them in the truck backing up. Mind you, it's pitch black. He doesn't have his lights on. And I was like,
It's your car.
I was just like, "Guys, no." But, I mean, he's just fucking they're too stupid to answer the radio call about their name. That kid's been shitting in there for 35 minutes with his Crocs on, and then he can't drive with his lights on. Like, they just made
No.
6 stupid fucking human beings, right? Like, they shouldn't be allowed to procreate.
No, no.
Like, all those kids are gonna end up being kidnapped by Hamas because 'cause they're gonna go over there to be journalists 'cause they think they're changing the fucking world, and they're not.
Oh, mm,
Complete waste of my time and my tax money.
wow, you went off the rails there. You went you went off the deep end there at the very end.
Long story short, everybody's stupid.
Mm, indeed. Indeed they are. Wow. Yeah, you definitely should have led with the Cheddar's bathroom story.
Y
That was
you can just cut the other one out.
no, maybe I will. Maybe I fucking will. Anyway, Travis, we are a weekly podcast where you and I get together each and every week to discuss all the news, rumors, new game releases, and much more in the world of PlayStation. We do it all in under 90 minutes and post new episodes on Monday on all the usual podcast services around this dying world. Yeah, we also put it on YouTube as well if you prefer to watch there, like many of you do. We're up to like 239 or 240 subscribers on YouTube, Travis, and which amazes me. So thank you for watching there and subscribing. Speaking of, if you do enjoy the show, we'd very much appreciate a subscription or a rating or a review on your podcast app. A like or comment on YouTube is helpful there as well. We'd also love to hear from you on social media. So find us on X or Twitter, if you still call it that, whatever you want to call it. We go by at the DualSense Pod, which is pretty much what we go by everywhere else, including Threads, Instagram, and Facebook. Our website is thedualsensepodcast.wordpress.com. You can get the shows there, show notes, our photos, bios, all that great stuff. So please find us, hit us up, chat some PlayStation with us. And without further ado, it's been a while since we've, gone 10 minutes without getting into the show, but this is also only our second show in like 6 weeks. So, fuck it. We'll do it live. So let's get into the news here, starting with number one. The rumors turned out to be true. PlayStation studio Naughty Dog announced this week that it has made the decision to cancel its multiplayer The Last of Us game, which they refer to as The Last of Us Online. They announced the news on the studio's website, writing, quote, "There's no easy way to say this. We've made the incredibly difficult decision to stop development on The Last of Us Online. We know this news will be tough for many, especially our dedicated The Last of Us factions community who have been following our multiplayer ambitions ardently. We're equally crushed at the studio as we were looking forward to putting it in your hands," end quote. The decision came down to a matter of resource allocation, according to Naughty Dog, which said they had to make the tough decision to become an all-out live service developer or continue making the type of single-player games we know and love them for. They added in their statement, quote, "In ramping up to full production, the massive scope of our ambition became clear. To release and support The Last of Us Online, we'd have to put all our studio resources behind supporting post-launch content for years to come, severely impacting development on future single-player games. So, we had two paths in front of us: become a solely live service game studio or continue to focus on single player narrative games that have defined Naughty Dog's heritage," end quote. And finally, in closing, teasing what is next for Naughty Dog, they closed the statement saying, quote, "We have more than one ambitious brand new single player game that we're working on here at Naughty Dog, and we cannot wait to share more about what comes next when we're ready," end quote. Okay, so had been rumored, have been reported by some insiders. What do you think about them canceling what we had been calling The Last of Us Factions, but
Mhm.
apparently what they were planning to call The Last of Us Online?
Oh, I might be in the only camp here, but I'm not really surprised. Like, I don't know, when Jim Ryan came out was talking about all these live service games and we're doing 26 in 2 years or whatever it was, and,
Mm-hmm.
like, I just didn't believe any of that bullshit. Like, they're so hard to make. They're so
Mm,
fucking hard to make these live service games, and Naughty Dog isn't that, and then, it just seemed like Jim Ryan and PlayStation were pushing all these studios to make all these live service games, and where are they?
yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm not surprised in the least bit. I know it sucks for the community. I know you were excited about it. I know that,
Mhm.
a lot of people were excited about it. It actually, on paper, it sounded really cool.
Yeah.
It sounded really fun, but, Naughty Dog's strength is single player games. Obviously, that's all they've made. It's easy to say, but I feel like to be really good at live service, you have to, like they said, you have to put all your resources and allocate everything to it. And they had to make a decision. Do we want to jump into this live service boat it's completely unknown, or we have this business model that is proven. So it didn't make sense to me for one for them to make it in the first place, but two, it doesn't make sense for me to me that they would run away from what they've done so well. So on a personal front, I'm excited they're going to put all of their money and their resources back into kind of these AAA single player type games, and if they can give us something like Uncharted multiplayer that doesn't break what they do, awesome. I'm all there.
Mhm.
But to our friend that comments on all of our videos about how stupid we are about them, these live services going away and everything. Yeah, yeah, who's right now? So, I don't remember everything I said or everything you said, but yeah, it's convenient that Jim Ryan leaves and now all these are being canceled. But you're right, you're totally right about everything in your anonymous posting on the internet. Um,
Mm.
it's fine, suck my balls.
You're being a little aggressive. They mean no harm. They come in somewhat peace, I think. I don't know. We'll see.
Me
But
too.
anyway, yeah, you too. You chose violence, you come in peace.
Yeah, well, you don't talk shit about what you don't know about. Like it's not
Don't
hard.
don't talk shit about Total. It's an old video, a YouTube video reference somebody will get. Um, yeah, like you said, I'm very disappointed to hear this news. We've been the writing's been on the wall. I would say there's been breadcrumbs here and there, but this is the direction we were going. The weird thing is that a month ago, I think the last time we did an episode before last week, we talked about how someone who was working on the game tweeted that they were still working on the game. So this is a very recent decision, if that is true, that they've made within the last 4 or 5 weeks. So it does make you wonder, what's been going on. And then the other weird thing about this is that a screenshot of the main menu leaked out today. I mean, not that means the game is done or anything like that. It's just a menu. But the other thing is that several developers have tweeted today too that the game was good, and that I mean, of course, they're working on it, but I would think that they would know if the game was good or bad. And they said were having fun with it, developing it, testing it. So, I understand the thought process of not wanting to spend years dedicating staff and resources to developing, battle passes and maps and storylines and characters and cosmetics. Like, I get all that totally. I wouldn't want to fucking do that either. I don't think for 3 or 4 years. I think my point is that why does it have to be that type of game?
That's
We
fair.
used to get you mentioned Uncharted multiplayer. Like, why can't we just have that? Like, why can't we just have, something that is a self-contained game mode? Like, I guess in other words, I wish they would have just stuck with their original vision almost and put it in The Last of Us Part 2, just in like a new version of factions in The Last of Us Part 2. It's just this bespoke game mode, like multiplayer suite. It's not a live service thing that you have to, keep adding content to. Like, they could do it for a year and fuck off and be done with it. Or, like, because if you think about it, like, do we have to play something for 4 or 5 years? You know what I'm
For
saying?
real, yeah.
Like, do we have to? Like, I mean, people play Call of Duty for a year and then leave and play the next one. I mean, not everybody, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I think that if they would have stuck to their vision or even reverted to their vision and scaled back a little bit and just said, okay, we've got this cool thing. Let's find a way to like button this up and, kind of round off these edges and make it more of just a complete package that we don't have to keep up with for years to come. I think people would have bought the shit out of that. Or even if they would have, done that and then added that to The Last of Us Part 2 remastered instead of the no return mode. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey,
Yeah, I thought the no return mode was odd. Like how you said that, it just makes more sense to me, but it's easy for me to say that. But
yeah.
it just makes more sense for me to do something more in like you said, completely in house. Like it's just in the world. We don't need
Mhm.
something that lasts 10 years. Like
No.
you spent resources on I don't know. It just did that was a weird choice to me.
I mean, I like the idea. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love The Last of Us. The Last of Us Part 1 and 2 are both of my top 3 games of all time, right behind Red Dead Redemption 2. So I'm the person, like, I love these games. Okay. Like, this is for me 100%. The Last of Us Online, a living game, whatever. Totally stoked about it, like you said. So I am disappointed that it's not there. But in lieu of that, would I have settled for, like I said, just a mode? just a multiplayer, like a more traditional multiplayer suite, absolutely. And I guess maybe it's not multiplayer, but we're getting an add-on mode in No Return. And one thing that I think would be interesting for them to do now, all things considered, is why not add co-op to that No Return mode? Let me be able to invite you, and me and you can play that No Return mode, two-player
Yeah.
co-op.
That'd be kind of
Like that,
fun. Yeah.
yeah, that'd be cool. Like, I don't know. I don't think they'll do that, but that would certainly be cool. And they obviously have the framework to be able to do something like that if they wanted to down the road. But yeah, disappointing news. Generally, I guess more broadly speaking, you are right. I think that the live service impetus, the live service kind of push at PlayStation is seemingly kind of dying on the vine. We talked a few weeks back about how they delayed half of their live service games to like 2026 or whatever. Just flat out took half of them and delayed them in quotes, which I think some of those will get canceled as well. So I think it's clearly not going well. It's hard to say what those reasons are. Jim is leaving, but then Jim just signed a deal with NCSoft to get games exclusively on PlayStation and stuff. So Jim obviously still has power there. So I don't think he's leaving on bad terms. Which is to say that I don't think that people aren't believing in his vision necessarily, but maybe there's just been this internal kind of power struggle from these teams. Like, listen, we don't fucking make these types of games. We make single player blockbuster games. That's why people love us. That's why people love PlayStation. That's why people are buying tens of millions of PlayStation 4s and 5s for the last decade. And I mean, period. I can totally buy that. I mean, we don't love PlayStation because they make live service multiplayer games. We like it for Ghost of Tsushima, we like it for The Last of Us, we like it for God of War, and then yeah, these extra things like Ghost of Tsushima Legends and the new Ragnarok DLC and the fucking No Return, like that's icing on the cake. So anyway,
Mhm.
I'm not totally upset about it because I do think that sticking with their heritage is, at the end of the day, a good decision. But anyway, we've been talking too long about this. Let's move on to number 2. The Entertainment Software Association announced this week, Travis, that the Electronics Entertainment Expo, or E3 for short, is officially dead. After struggling for years now to revive the once keystone industry event, they have given up, throwing in the towel, writing in a statement, quote, after more than 2 decades of hosting an event that has served as a central showcase for the United States and the global video game industry, the ESA has decided to end E3. Ellipsis. We know the entire industry, players and creators alike have a lot of passion for E3. We share that passion. We know it's difficult to say goodbye to such a beloved event, but it's the right thing to do given the new opportunities our industry has to reach fans and partners. End quote. E3 began in 1995 as a way for retailers to meet with game publishers to strike deals related to games and distribution, and from there grew to become the industry's tentpole event before eventually cratering following the COVID pandemic, which accelerated the trend of publishers and platform holders hosting their own digital events and showcases throughout the year, cutting out E3 and the ESA as a middleman altogether. Okay, so E3 is officially dead. Any thoughts?
Yeah, it's been dead for a while. It's like remember Teresa Schiavo? She was on life support for years,
Yeah.
and yeah, they
Why do I know
finally.
that name? Wow, that's a bull.
No. I remember it was a big controversy, and they pulled her off life support, and it was like, should
Yeah.
should you be allowed to do this or not or whatever. I feel like that's
Yeah.
E3.
Yeah.
Man, this is we knew this was going to happen eventually. I think it was kind of like an open secret. Nobody in the industry, I think, was surprised.
Yeah.
It's a sad nostalgia tug. You know what I mean? Like I remember
Yeah.
being so fucking stoked about E3, and
Mhm.
just you didn't know what was going to be there all the time, right? There was always
Mhm.
some kind of surprise, some sort of trailer you didn't expect, some sort of announcement you didn't expect, and it was just a blast. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just like all these people that were nerds like us, and it was a good time. And COVID murdered it, and
Yeah.
everybody kind of did their own thing. And there's not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, I like that people do their own thing. We kind of
Mhm.
get more events that way. I feel like, but they've just been
We do.
absolutely destroyed by this new wave after the pandemic, and also like Summer Game Fest kind of has replaced it to me. Like Jeff Keighley also killed E3. There's a Jeff Keighley nail in this coffin too.
Big one.
So it's, you know, it's sad to see it go. Like, I always wanted to go to E3. Like, that was always a thing
Yeah,
I wanted to do, and,
yeah,
never got the chance, obviously. Maybe we should go to Game Awards one time, and maybe it'll fill the hole.
yeah. That'd be cool. Go out to the Microsoft Theater or Peacock Theater, where the fuck they have it. But you know, I definitely miss E3. I think most gamers do, simply for the fact that it really was it was more than, just a showcase. It was like the fact that everything happened like in that week, you know? I mean, there was some
Yeah.
stuff happening around the year, but like for game announcements, for reveals, whatever, like that was the week then. Like you knew. I mean, as a matter of fact, E3 was such a big thing. I remember when like developers, publishers wouldn't release games right before and during and after E3, really.
Yeah, I
Like
forgot
they
about
wouldn't.
that.
Yeah, they wouldn't do it. They'd be like, no, we're not releasing anything during E3 because there's going to be 20 million games announced, and if Rockstar shows up and announces Grand Theft Auto whatever,
Oh, you're
like,
fucked, yeah.
and we drop a game the following week, nobody's going to give a fuck. Like there was that sort of kind of mentality there for a while, and that's not really the case anymore. But it was just cool because we could sit down on a Saturday, we could watch the PlayStation showcase, and then a couple hours later watch the Xbox one, and then a couple hours after that watch whoever Ubisoft, their thing, and then EA would do a thing, and then I think Bethesda eventually started doing something, and Devolver Digital, like you just don't have that now, and the difference now, obviously all of those entities are just doing their own thing. Like you said, we're getting more events, but in a way it feels diluted, and in a way it feels anticlimactic because we don't have that date on the calendar that we can point to. Like, yeah, that's the week. Like those 2 or 3 days are going to be fucking dope, and now we have Summer Game Fest and Gamescom and fucking the Game Awards, and people are now they hate the Game Awards now almost, and so it's just different. So definitely we'll miss it, but I've heard it compared to Woodstock, and yeah, I think that's a fair comparison. Woodstock used to be fucking huge, and then it died, and it just didn't serve a purpose anymore, and that's kind of what happened to E3. It's an old Yeller situation.
Yeah, but the idea of E3 coming back like Woodstock '99 is awesome.
Yeah.
We have, like, some weird well, like, who's Kid Rock? Is it Devolver? They come in all wild, like,
Oh yeah,
there's
definitely.
there's there's we got some good options coming back. But
Yeah.
seriously, though, I think, I don't know who would do it, but I think an E3 doc would be so cool to talk about, like, the E3 heyday,
Hmm.
like, right when we were in high school and college, like, that 10-year mark of E3, like,
Yeah.
'06 to, like, 12, 13. It felt like it was super hot.
Hmm.
I think that would be awesome, like, just to see the ins and outs and all the old footage and dude, like, the excitement, man, like, that's what it was, like, you made a great point. It's so diluted now, it feels diluted now, I should say,
Hmm.
but man, the excitement, like, 'cause you just didn't fucking know, like, you
No.
didn't know who was gonna because it was all secret, right? I don't know, man,
Mhm.
it's just different.
No, I agree. I agree. Number three, industry sales analytics firm Circana released its November data this week. The biggest takeaway is that video game hardware sales are down a whopping 24% from last November, though PlayStation 5 was still the best-selling console for the month. Overall video game spending was down 7% year over year as well, with spending on games down 3%. Part of the reason hardware sales were down so bad this year is that November 2022 had two big game releases compared to this year, one being God of War Ragnarok and the other being Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Meanwhile, in Europe, the PS5 sales were up a whopping 376%
God,
year over year from last November, while Nintendo was down 35% and Xbox down 26%. Sticking with hardware for just a moment, the PlayStation Portal was the fourth best selling piece of hardware in November, ahead of other notable handhelds like Steam Deck, the Asus ROG Ally, and all VR headsets. And that is despite the Portal being supply constrained since launch. On the software front here in the US, the best selling game for November was Modern Warfare 3, of course, which instantly became the second best selling game for the entirety of 2023 behind Hogwarts Legacy. Other notable bestsellers for November include Spider Man 2 at number 2, Hogwarts Legacy at number 3, which is up from number 10 in October, God of War Ragnarok at number 15, which is up from number 36 in October, and Spider Man Miles Morales at number 18. Circana also shared the top 20 most played games on PS5 in November, which is interesting. And this is according to their tracking metrics. The most played game on PS5 was Fortnite, followed by Call of Duty HQ, which just means people have been playing Call of Duty. 3 was Spider-Man 2, followed by GTA 5, Roblox, NBA 2K24, Mortal Kombat 1, Madden 24, Apex Legends, Minecraft, Aliens Fireteam Elite, which was a PlayStation Plus game, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Gotham Knights, Overwatch 2, NBA 2K23, Dragon Ball The Breakers, which was also a PlayStation Plus game, I think, Rocket League, Rainbow Six Siege, and WWE 2K23. All right. Any of this stand out to you?
Yeah, the European 400% increase is bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we talked about before, because I do this at work too. Percentages always sound better than whole numbers. So
Yeah, that's funny that you were talking about the
yeah, if maybe they sold 400 instead of 100,
right.
but
Yeah.
still, it's better than a negative percentage, right?
Yeah.
I will say that the hardware sales being down overall, I think is interesting.
Yeah.
You made a good point about the games coming out, but still, I think a 20, what'd you say, 25% decrease. Um,
Mhm.
that's man, I don't know. I feel like that's a if I'm working in PlayStation, that's like a yellow flag. It's like, all right, what's going on?
Right.
The Portal's selling great. It's like you said, it surprises me. It's ahead of the VRs. Didn't expect that, but I think PlayStation might be a little bit surprised too when you consider the supply constraints.
Yeah, I would agree.
Um, maybe I don't know. Maybe you could make if I'm working for PlayStation, I'm just gonna say, hey, they're waiting on the new slimmer versions, right? That's what I'm gonna tell myself. Maybe that's true. As far as like the Switch being down, I think that's like we talked last week. There's going to be a Switch 2 in the next 12 months, right? At least announced. So
Yeah.
or a version of the Switch 2, whatever they want to call it, right? So
Yeah, I would think so.
I think that's fair because it's been out for so long. Of course, it's going to eventually slow down. I think
Mm.
that'll be whatever they make next will be a very competitive. It'll be hot. So
Oh, yeah.
that doesn't concern me too much. Yeah, but that 25% is definitely a yellow flag to me. 3% isn't anything. That's marginal. But what did surprise me was Hogwarts jumping back up to 3.
Mhm.
Good for them. Like,
Yeah.
didn't expect that. God of War makes sense. I think with the announcements coming up, you know what I mean? With everything for it to jump up
Yeah.
makes a little bit of sense to me. As far as the overall played, Call of Duty HQ is hilarious to me, but the
Mm.
Aliens Fire Team surprised me. Like, I know it's free,
Yeah.
but just
Yeah.
didn't. I would never have guessed that. I wouldn't have expected that at all. Nothing else on that list really blows me away. Like people still play Black Ops Cold War. Like that doesn't really totally shock me that it's
No.
up
It's a cool
there.
game. Mhm.
Fully expect Fortnite and Roblox and GTA to be up there forever.
Oh, yeah.
And when Spider-Man, I feel like it will still be there through the holidays, but I think once we get into like February, it'll start to fall down a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. The one of my biggest takeaways from this is that Hogwarts Legacy is probably going to be the best-selling video game of the year, which I think if I remember correctly from what I was seeing online, there has not the last year that we had a number one best selling game for a year that was not Call of Duty or a Rockstar game, I think was like 2008, maybe. So
What was
that's
that?
oh my
Turok?
I'd have to look, man. I've been seeing the stuff. No, and Turok, I don't know what it was, but it blows my mind. I mean, it's just hard to, I mean, it just Call of Duty and Rockstar just have such a stranglehold on the industry, but that just shows you how, I mean, how big Harry Potter is. I mean, it's just, and I think for that, in somewhat of a similar vein, I mean, not quite as big, but I think Avatar will be top 10 best selling game of the year. It's already doing very well in the UK and in Europe. So just wait for that. Told you guys.
Yeah, but
Speaking of
to
Avatar, go
to
ahead.
your point about Avatar and Harry Potter as IPs, though, I think it shows you just how shitty the Star Wars RP has been treated. Like that
Mm,
could be a best selling game. It's fucking Star Wars,
mm,
but they can never
mm.
seem to put it together. It's always
Yeah,
it's always mid or above average, right? Like
yeah,
it, it annoys the shit out of me because I feel like if they made a really good Star Wars game, I'd love it.
yeah.
Like, I don't even really like Harry Potter, but that game is freaking sick. Like, when I watch people play it online, like, I love how interactive it all is. You're in the castle. Like, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. I just
Yeah.
maybe this new Star Wars game where we get to, run around with the Millennium Falcon will be it, but I doubt it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I forgot about that game. That's a Ubisoft massive game, you know, that's promising. But the other, thing I wanted to say here was about PlayStation Portal being the 4th best-selling piece of hardware. I think Sony underestimated that, which is why supply is the way it is. It also could be a little bit of artificial, you know, supply constraint to drive up demand a little bit, but the thing is selling like crazy. I mean, it's in and out of stock at all the major retailers. I mean, for weeks now, a month now, essentially. So, I mean, it's a great piece of kit. Don't get me wrong. It is very cool. I mean, for $200, it's a fucking supreme value for people who have a use for it. There's no doubt about that, in my opinion. So, you know, we've talked about it. You can spend $100 on a backbone or spend $100 more, get a dual sense and get a fucking 8-inch full HD LCD screen with 60 frames per second. Like, it's a no brainer. So I think they've got a great value proposition there with Portal. And I think that's why it's doing so well. Number 4, Wolverine and Spider-Man developer Insomniac Games suffered a data breach this week after hackers accessed their servers and reportedly held its contents for a ransom of $2 million. Sony released a statement saying that they were aware of and looking into the issue, but it appears to be too late for Insomniac and PlayStation, as both employee data and project data were leaked online this week. The leaks revealed that Insomniac is working on Spider Man 3, which is no surprise, really, but more importantly, some sort of Spider Man or Spider Verse game. It also revealed that Wolverine will be a third person game with a camera angle like the recent God of War games, and other details were leaked as well. If you're interested, you can find them, but we will stop there to avoid complete spoilers for people who don't want to be spoiled on things like this. So, what do you think about a significant PlayStation leak and any of these little nuggets here?
Yeah, I think I've come to the, realization and the comfort level that people, if they just wanna hack it, they're gonna do it.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
seems like
yeah.
we're always behind the hackers on the technology.
Hmm.
But the thing they leaked there is, I
We could have
guess
guessed all that, right?
yeah, like, the only thing I thought was interesting was that Wolverine's in third person, and I'm happy for that, like, I wanted it to be in third person, so,
Sure.
yeah, no worries there. I mean, if it's like, God of War, if it's like the same kinda third person as Ghost of Tsushima, I'm gonna have a blast, it's awesome. So,
Hmm.
yeah, the bigger issue is all the personal data and everything else, like, that's a bigger issue to me than these
Definitely.
details about games, and I'm not sure holding them ransom, I don't know that they care, like, $2,000,000 are probably like, Okay." Like,
Yeah.
I'll just change the I'll just encrypt stuff or something, like, I don't know what they do, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like, I don't know, man, there's, like I feel like there's nothing I just feel like the way that society is now, there's nothing on there that they could hack in that they would really be worried about. They were like, "Oh, you're gonna leak the whole game?" It's like, "Okay, they'll still buy it." Like, I just
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they
Exactly.
leaked the fucking GTA trailer and, like, nobody
Mm.
cared, you know? So,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still been viewed 150 million times or whatever. So, I mean, to your point, the GTA trailer. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, we could have guessed all of this. Like, I mean, Spider Man 3, that's no surprise. I don't think anybody would be surprised by that. A Spider Verse game, I think that we could have easily have guessed that as well. There's been talk about, well, as a matter of fact, Insomniac has confirmed that the Spider Man games and the upcoming Wolverine game take place in the same universe. So there's that. I mean, I think that is kind of setting it up for some type of Spider Verse game or some type of Marvel Ultimate Alliance type game, something weird like that. So I mean, that's not a huge stretch. And then third person, that's the type of games that Naughty or excuse me, Insomniac makes is
Oh,
third person games. Yeah. So, I mean, that's not a huge surprise there. What would be far more interesting to me is if there was confirmation that it's going to be a mature rated game and that you're going to be able to cut motherfuckers up into pieces. Like, that is the type of shit that I would like to know. And maybe that is out there. I just didn't want to look too hard. Like I said, I don't want to be spoiled totally, but, a significant leak for Insomniac for PlayStation. Um, they got to button this stuff up. We don't, I mean, we get mad that they don't tell us stuff about games and whatever, but at the same time, we don't. I personally don't want to find out like this. Like, this is dumb. Number 5, Sony announced that 19 new games are joining the PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium tiers next week. Speaking of, PlayStation Portal's available right now at Walmart. I just got a Twitter notification. Anyway, PlayStation announced the 19 new games that are coming to PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium tiers this week. They're headlined by, Grand Theft Auto 5, followed by Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, Moto GP 23, heavy metal first-person shooter Metal Hellsinger, which sounds dope. I'm going to check that out. Salt and Sacrifice, Moonscars, Mega Man 11, Gigabash, which is like Godzilla, like kaiju multiplayer fighting game. It looks pretty fucking dope. Grime, Tinykin, Proteus, Shadowrun Returns, Shadowrun Daggerfall Director's Cut, Shadowrun Hong Kong Extended Edition, Mega Man Legacy Collection, Mega Man Legacy Collection 2, Thrillville Off the Rails, and Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. Okay, what do you think of the list for December?
I mean, I don't actually. It's not terrible. Mostly because GTA is there, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm morbidly curious about the Buzz Lightyear game. I don't know why. There's something about the Toy Story shit that gets me going. Like the toy
Mm-hmm.
soldiers, the all. Remember that game? And
Yeah.
there's a
Oh,
toy
yeah.
racing game you could play back on
Mm-hmm.
like PlayStation 1 that I really enjoyed. So it's kind of in my alley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard of Gigabash. It
You should
also
look up a
sounds
trailer.
it sounds like a battle bot too, so that's fun.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Grime sticks out to me. I feel like I've seen something about Grime before, but I'm
Yeah, I'm not
blanking on what
familiar
it
with that
is.
one.
I'll have to look it up. Yeah, that's really it. The Metal Hellsinger game sounds dope. I just like the name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Check that out. MotoGP, I just don't think it's for me. I
Yeah.
suck at those types of games. No, I actually think it's like one of the better things they've given us, especially with GTA.
Yeah, I think objectively it's a good month. GTA, Stranger of Paradise, Salt and Sacrifice is supposed to be pretty good. Uh, but the weird thing about this is there's a lot of hardcore games on here, like Soulsborne games, like Salt and Sacrifice, Moonscars, Grime. Those are 3 Soulsborne games in 1 month. Like, I mean, come on, guys. Like, you gotta fucking balance this better than that. Like, you cannot fucking do that. Gigabash, look up a trailer for that. I think it's either 4v4 or 2v2 multiplayer online. Also has some single player campaign or some shit. Proteus is a cool game I own. It looks like Doom, looks like old school Doom, like a pixel first person shooter. It's a boomer shooter like Doom, but it's made with like some modern touches and stuff. So it looks old, but it plays new. As if that makes sense. It's a pretty cool game. I do
What's a
own it.
boomer shooter?
It's what Doom is, like Doom, Duke Nukem, like those games. So
Oh, it's not an active shooter in an old folks' home?
no, not yet, not yet. So and Tinykin looks cool. I'll probably check that out. Very cool, kind of striking art style. So anyway, good month. Number 6, we also have a bunch of news nuggets here as well. Travis, feel free to hop in here. First nugget: God of War Ragnarok released its free DLC, or Valhalla DLC, this week, and by all accounts is a great addition to the game. I think it's actually taking people by surprise. They can't believe that it's free, and I think they didn't. I don't think they marketed it correctly, is what it sounds like. But anyway, it'll take up about 8 GB on your PS5 SSD. And we also learned that the game has sold 15 million copies since launching last November.
That's pretty good.
It's a great success, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, how long is the playtime on this? Do you know off the top of your
They
head?
said it's. I mean, They said it's longer. This is not a joke. They said it's longer than the Modern Warfare 3 campaign. So it's probably like 8 hours.
No, that's not
So
terrible, really. I mean, it's free, of
it's like
course, but
7 or 8 hours.
yeah, it's kind of
Yeah,
dope. Yeah.
yeah. Apparently, there's more story to it than what meets the eye as well. So that's interesting. Anyway, next nugget: developer Game Boom. It's my Game Boom stick released Cooking Simulator VR on PSVR 2 this week with maximum resolution, 120 frames per second, headset haptic feedback support, and real life cooking physics. It looks pretty cool. Website Video Games Chronicle reported that multiple insiders, including Jeff Grubb and Tom Henderson, confirmed this week that a PS5 Pro is indeed real and coming in the fall of 2024, though the release date ranges from September to November, depending on which one you choose to believe. Embracer Group has laid off staff at both 3D Realms and Slipgate Ironworks, according to 3D Realms founder Scott Miller. Ubisoft has registered a website domain for an unannounced Might and Magic game called Might and Magic Fates. To that end, Ubisoft Shanghai was hiring for a quote unquote world director for such a game recently, so that's real. Peripheral maker PDP teased plans this week to launch new guitar controllers for music games in January, most likely for the new Fortnite Festival game, which is made by Harmonix. So it's coming back as a Fortnite game.
Yeah, I mean, okay, that might make me play Fortnite if I can play Guitar Hero.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it is. Sony has made its annual PlayStation Wrap-Up website live this week, where you can log in to get a summary of your gaming stats for the year. I played 178 games this year and a little over 900 hours, I think. So, played a lot.
Yeah,
Played a lot of games.
I only had 400 hours, so
Well, those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up.
yeah, it's like an hour a day.
It's not enough. Not enough. Also, Embracer Group confirmed this week that TimeSplitter's studio Free Radical Design is officially closed after being put on notice a few weeks ago. Bandai Namco announced that a Tekken 8 demo is now available on the PlayStation Store for PlayStation 5. It includes the first chapter of the game's story and a local versus fighting mode. Mortal Kombat 1 is getting cross-play support in February across all platforms, NetherRealm announced this week. Bulwark Falconeer Chronicles will come to PS4 and PS5 sometime next year. The first game was an Xbox Series XS launch exclusive. Ubisoft has delisted the original Crew game from digital storefronts rather quietly this week, announcing that it will no longer be playable starting April the 1st due to its online-only nature, so it'll render the game unplayable. PlayStation has refused to share sales numbers for Gran Turismo 7 thus far, but Polyphony Digital president Kazunori Yamauchi has called the game a quote-unquote success when talking to GT Planet recently. Who knows? They've said that they have an extremely active player base as well. Website Games Industry reported that developer Fantastic or Fantastic, I don't know. The team behind multiplayer zombie survival game The Day Before is closed just 4 days after its early access PC release. And they also
Jesus.
removed the game from Steam after being critically and commercially destroyed by reviewers and players alike, earning a 1 out of 10 from IGN, for example.
Holy shit.
The Day Before was supposed to come to PlayStation at some point in the future, but that obviously is not happening now. Sounds and reads this week a lot like a scam. A lot
What's
like that one game that we thought was Hideo Kojima, but it never even released. So the Game Awards were viewed by 118 million people, according to Mr. Jeff Keighley. So that's a lot of people. Website PushSquare reported that the Final Fantasy XVI development team has moved on to its next project, meaning that no sequels or spin-offs for the game are coming. GTA Online received a new Chop Shop update this week that lets you start up a new illicit business and also comes with new vehicles and drift racing. EA Sports WRC Season 2 added the Central European Rally this week in a free update. Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding documentary will air exclusively on Disney Plus when it releases in the spring. And speaking of Death Stranding, Kojima Productions has signed with film production company A24 to create a live-action film adaptation of Death Stranding, which I think will actually be pretty dope. And I, Travis, would bet money that Jordan Peele is going to direct it, since
That'd be fun.
since they're apparently butt buddies now or whatever.
Oh yeah, but he also like Jordan Peele loves video games and he does horror stuff. Like,
Yeah,
it's kind
I
of cool.
think it would be fun, and it is cool. I think it's happening. You can write
Yeah,
it
I
down
think
and
the
take it to the fucking
documentary
bank.
documentary sounds cool too.
I agree. It's weird that's gonna be on Disney Plus because that's a very mature game. Like, it's dark. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. I guess they got National Geographic stuff on
Oh
there.
yeah, but you know how Disney is. I think do you think Norman Reedus would play Norman Reedus?
That would be awesome.
Like, why
I,
wouldn't he? He's Norman Reedus.
I
Like, I
mean,
don't.
that's a great point. I actually like. That's a great point. I think he has to play the main character. Yes. All right. Next nugget. First person shooter Atomic Heart is getting a new DLC called Trapped in Limbo on February the 6th. Highly anticipated JRPG Ayuden Chronicle 100 Heroes released 6 minutes of new gameplay this week if you're interested. Physics-based platformer Human Fall Flat has crossed a staggering 50 million copies sold. I've always been morbidly curious about this game because it's like not Fall Guys. What's the other one?
Gang Beasts.
Game. Thank you. It's like Gang Beast, but you can play with like up to 8 people, and you're like trying to solve puzzles and use physics to. I don't know. It was a PlayStation Plus game at one point, so everybody should own it. Or actually, I think it's still on PlayStation Plus and Extra and Premium is what it is. Next nugget. Recent PlayStation Plus Essential game Power Wash Simulator received a free holiday DLC this week. Bethesda announced that they have delayed Fallout 4's quote-unquote next-gen upgrade to 2024. Likewise, Insomniac Games has delayed the New Game Plus update for Spider-Man 2 to 2024 as well. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that the Persona 5 series has crossed 10 million units sold. Website PlayStation Universe reported that the following games received update patches this week: Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, Baldur's Gate 3, Wo Long Fallen Dynasty, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, Lords of the Fallen, Mortal Kombat 1, Conan Exiles, Dead by Daylight, Hunt Showdown, Rainbow Six Siege, Payday 3, GTA 5, Assassin's Creed Mirage, No Man's Sky, and World War Z. So if you've been waiting for some new content or fixes, look into those. Also, Mark Wahlberg stated recently that there is a script done for the second Uncharted film, though nothing has been announced about production of a second film at this point, but pretty stoked for that to happen. HBO's The Last of Us adaptation became the first ever live-action video game adaptation to be nominated at the Golden Globes, where it received nods for Best Drama Series, Best Male Performance, and Best Female Performance. Wow. Like sexual, you think? I don't know.
I haven't seen it. I don't know. Do they fuck? I thought you told me they fucked.
No, nobody fucks in that show. But
Good.
the show fucks. The show fucks hard.
I saw a video of Pedro Pascal hugging some guy in a town he went to.
Really? Wow. Did
Like
he fuck him?
from the show.
Oh, okay.
No, I
Okay,
don't know.
see.
I don't know what's
Hmm.
happening. He was dressed like he was in Yellowstone.
Also, EA Sports announced that PGA Tour will be getting a 9th season and a new Pro Pass. John will be excited. It's the only game he plays. EA also announced that it is shutting down the servers, shutting down the studio for multiplayer title Rocket Arena on March 21st. Didn't even know that game was still going. Okay.
God, I forgot it existed completely.
Yeah. Voice actor Doug Cockle, Travis's favorite, stated that he is ready to reprise his role as Geralt of Rivia for The Witcher 4 and the other Witcher projects that are currently ongoing. The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered will take up 76 gigabytes on your PlayStation 5, according to PlayStation Game Size, with preload beginning on January the 12th. Website Gamatsu reported that Saga Emerald Beyond will launch digitally for PS4 and PS5 on April the 25th. Honkai Star Rail version 1.6, which is called Crown of the Mundane and Divine, will launch December 27th. Thank God. Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds and Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds 1 Overdrive, will be delisted from online storefronts on March the 4th. What a shame. In Games will release The Legend of Steel Empire and Over Horizon Cross Steel Empire for PS4 next year. Focus Entertainment will launch Expeditions, a Mudrunner game for PS4 and PS5 on March 5th. Cooking roguelike management game Plate Up will launch for PS4 and PS5 on February 15th, Side-scrolling action-adventure game Aeterno Lucis, the sequel to Aeterna Noctis, will launch for PS4 and PS5 late next year. Dungeon-crawling action roguelike Loot River is now available, on PS4 and PS5 alongside a free level editor update. High-speed platformer Freedom Planet 2 has been delayed to the spring on PS4 and PS5. First-person puzzle game Viewfinder is now available on PS4 after releasing earlier this year for PS5. Local co-op physics game Tools Up Ultimate Edition will come to PS4 on January 5th. And finally, Travis Kamatsu reported that Koei Tecmo has delayed its Romance of the Three Kingdoms 8 remake from early 2024 to sometime later in the year for both PS4 and PS5. And that is all for the news this week. And I'm going to turn it over to Travis now for this week's new games.
How do I read these? They're in italics. How do you read in italics?
You gotta tilt your head a little bit.
All right. We got on VR, we have Ancient Dungeon. Sounds awesome. And Prison Boss also sounds awesome.
I need to
VR.
look into that. Yeah.
Both sound amazing. Okay. On the 4 and the 5, we have Anthology of Fear, Arcade Archives Pole Position 2. That is a classic.
Mm.
Avatar Frontiers of Pandora trademark. Battle Stations Blockade. Bear and Breakfast. Okay. It's where you fuck a bear and eat breakfast.
Smoking a
uh,
pancake.
we got Choice Clash. What would you rather? That was hard for me to
Mm,
get through. City Driver,
mm.
Custom Mech Wars, Cyber Tank. That is the new Tesla venture after the Cybertruck.
Oh, it's coming.
Evil Nun, The Broken Mask. Fall of the New Age. Fearmonium, The Finals. Hades, Star, Dark Nebula.
It's your asshole.
Hammerwatch Anniversary Edition. Hammerwatch 2. Meadow Gallop. Palindrome Syndrome Escape Room.
Okay.
Polyturbo Drift Racing Simulator.
Uh-huh.
Potion Craft Alchemist Simulator. Regular Factory Escape Room. Ruin Arc. Save the World. Sky Runners Infinite Parkour.
Mm-hmm.
Test. TEST Expected Behavior. Wall World. And Warhammer 4000 Rogue Trader.
Yeah, Wallworld is the sequel to cult hit Kevin Costner film Waterworld.
Oh, it's
And
exciting.
yeah,
Do they drink their own pee
see,
in that too?
probably. Hammerwatch 2 are pixel versions of Diablo, basically.
Huh.
Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, fucking awesome. I've only played an hour, so I won't definitively say, but I cannot wait to get back to that. Really enjoying it so far. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into Prison Boss VR. That's intriguing. So yeah, not a huge week other than Avatar. Going to be one of the best selling games of all of 2023, despite only a few weeks on the market. Market down. All right, so that's all for the new games. Now let's start to wrap the show up here, Travis, like we always do, by discussing what we've been playing and anything that we're looking forward to. What do you got?
I played some FIFA. Nothing crazy there. I'm enjoying the wheeling and dealing of the roster. So I've been signing people off my youth squad, loaning them out. If I run
Yeah,
out of depth in a position, I'll randomly call a different one back. Because if the loan glitch doesn't work, I kind of rotate them in, and I'll just bring them back because it's like $1,000 to bring them back. So I'll bring them back, play him, and then if he's in good form, I'll loan him out. If he's in bad form, I'll sell him. Because if they're in good form and you loan them out, the computer thinks their potential's higher, and then the computer is like, this guy's potential is really high, but his overall is low. So they'll jump 3 or 4
wow,
points. It doesn't understand. It just so you can glitch the shit out of it. So I've been doing that, having fun with that, and then selling a guy if I decide at some point I don't like him, I'll just sell a guy. It's been a blast.
funny.
And then we played the finals.
Mm-hmm. It did.
It's just as good as it was. It took me a minute. The first game I got back, I mean, it was so bad, and it wasn't even like, you know, we talked about how the guys from Battlefield made it, and I would always describe battlefields
Mm,
that those guys made. I would describe it as you're running on a bubble, and I don't know if that even makes sense, but like if you imagine your guys standing on a bubble, and they like, you run left or right, and they just kind of slide on the surface, but they always stay perfectly north. That's how
right,
it feels to me when I move, and it's funny to me that that game has the exact same feel.
right.
It it's I actually don't like that about the game. I hated that
Oh,
about the Battlefields, but it's just funny that it's there. But the gunplay's nice. Once you get adjusted to it, it's the kill time is a little bit different
mm,
than Call of Duty or Battlefield per se. But yeah, we were having a blast. We won a decent amount of games. We probably won like half our games, maybe.
I'd say so. At least won 3 times.
Yeah, I feel like we won like 3 in a row at one point, and
We won our first two, and then I
yeah,
think our last two.
yeah,
So
and it's
yeah,
like it's almost better to not even get the money at first. It's almost better to
yeah,
let them plant it and steal it.
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I had a nice little stand. I was the last one in the squad, and I needed to revive you. I was trying to get there, but there was too much happening. And with a couple of flashbangs and foam grenades, managed to hold them off long enough to get all the money in the thing. So
Not a bad.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm still tempted, to try the little fast guy because he has a sniper rifle. I want to try him,
Oh,
and I want to
yeah.
try the big guy just because the hammer looks fun. The sledgehammer is just so obnoxious.
Yeah. It is. The sledgehammer dicks. It's kind of meta a little bit.
Yeah, but the levels are really cool though. I'm enjoying the levels. Like they're a lot of fun. The casino's cool. The city's cool. There's a skyscraper one that's not bad. Like the level design on that game's pretty good.
Yeah, I would agree. I love the maps. I think they're not too big, not too small. It forces you to have to trek across the map. But you're also not right on top of each other. Like you have opportunities to get away. All that good stuff. Yeah, I love it, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like that's all I've wanted to play this week. I haven't played games in a couple days, but all I've wanted to play is the finals. I think it really scratches an itch. I like that other than changing weapons, of course, some are going to be better than others, but like on a weapon, in a weird way, there's no customization, which is a good thing because, it's not like Call of Duty where you have these blueprints or, you have somebody with a barrel and a muzzle and this grip and there's no recoil. Like everybody's on an even playing field for the most part. And like your skill is what determines how well you do. So I appreciate that. The other thing I played was I think I can talk about this. It's been delayed, but I'm I don't know if I can. I mean the embargo is passed. I don't fucking know. I'm playing. Let me leave it at this. I'm playing two PSVR 2 games. One I'm not sure that I can talk about. The other is called Towers and Powers. It is out now. Came out on the 14th, I think. It's a tower defense game. You can play sitting or standing, and you set up your units, set up your towers. You can mix and match units to have different stat bonuses and attributes, um, and move things around as the enemies come out of the portals and shit. And you also have magical abilities that you draw spells with your hands, and then they come down on the level and kind of like destroy everything or whatever the case is. Very cool game. Very cool game. There's 15 levels. I've played for like I don't know 5, 6, 7 hours so far. Maybe a little bit longer, but I'm really enjoying it. So I'll have a full review in the next week or so over at gamingnexus.com. So I'm also reviewing another game at the moment. I don't know if I can say if I can say that either. I think that I can, but there was a typo in from the developer in the embargo document. They got the date wrong, so it was clearly an accident. But I guess technically I can't say that I'm reviewing it because they have a typo, which is so fucking dumb. So I'll hold off on that. But anyway, and then we have the Skull and Bones closed beta to look forward to this weekend. It's running 15th to the 18th. Weirdly, I don't know if you noticed this, but we can only play for 6 total hours. There's an in-game timer, so you get 6 hours and it times you, and that's it.
Maybe that's enough. Who knows?
It might be. Before we started recording, I did play the sort of basically a tutorial and got past that, and then it put me kind of out in the open world, and I could see like other players around me, like in the water and shit. So, yeah, we'll see. Jury's out on that one. But yeah, anyway, that's it for me. It's it for Travis. It's it for the show. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to get a new episode delivered every Monday on your podcast service or the YouTube. And please leave us a rating or review there or like your comment. Also, don't forget to find us on social media. We go by at the DualSense Pod on X and Twitter, as well as Threads, Instagram, Facebook, and our website is the DualSensePodcast.wordpress.com. So check us out there. Hit us up, chat some PlayStation with us. We'd love to hear from you. We'll get out of here. Have a great week, and we'll talk at you next time. Bye bye.